Afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for SME's Manufacturing Technology Series webinar, AMI's Low-Cost, Easy to Integrate Industry 4.0 Digital Solution. Today's webinar will look different as we bring it to you from the shop floor of MXD. I'm Carl Mitroff, MT Series Content Manager. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. We have an exciting experience today, but first, a few housekeeping items. You'll notice right away that Google Chrome is our preferred web browser. Your microphones have been automatically muted. And questions regarding webinar functionality, if you do have any, we have a chat feature, and you're welcome to use that to talk directly back to us with any questions you have on functionality. We'll try to address those as quickly as we can. And if you have any technical questions you'd like to ask our presenters this afternoon, use the Q&A box. Towards the end of today's webinar, we will have an opportunity to address all your questions. So get your questions ready. Thank you. And we are recording this presentation, and we'll make it live, or we will make it available on our MT Series website. Navigating us around today's webinar navigating us around the MXD facility this afternoon is Dr. Stephan Biller, CEO and President of AMI. We are excited to be working with AMI as they continue to support SME in our return to live events, including this year's MT Series portfolio that includes HouseTech, EastTech, SouthTech, and WestTech. You'll hear more about this later. So I'm going to quickly, Ricky, can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Hello, my name is Stephan Biller, CEO of Advanced Manufacturing International. Today we are bringing you a webinar on the shop floor of MXD, the nation's top digital manufacturing institute.
Sorry, folks. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Stephan Biller, CEO of Advanced Manufacturing International. Today we are bringing you a webinar on the shop floor of MXD, the nation's top digital manufacturing institute. We'll share our perspective on smart manufacturing and give you a preview of a demo we'll be doing at the SME shows in HouseTech, SouthTech, WestTech, and EastTech. And at those shows, we'll have our experts and engineering team on the floor, and we'll be ready to discuss all the digital transformation and Industry 4.0 implementation you want to do. AMI, or Advanced Manufacturing International, is a not-for-profit organization that is dedicated to the digital transformation and Industry 4.0 acceleration of small and medium manufacturers. We are a not-for-profit, and as such, we are not reliable to generate a profit for our shareholders or pay back our investors. Therefore, we can offer you solutions at an ultra-low cost that are simple and easy to implement, and we are really in that for you, and we want you to be better without us making a profit. Let me give you a little perspective on the digital transformation, why it's so important. I worked previously for General Motors, for General Electric, and for IBM, three big companies that have all made big strides in smart manufacturing, Industry 4.0, or the digital transformation, whatever you want to call it. Those companies have the staff and the money to put in Industry 4.0. And as they're getting to more and more resilient and connected supply chain, they're expecting their suppliers, including the small medium manufacturers, to go along with them and get transparent and get digitally enabled. That's why this is so important. Now, let me tell you about the ingredients of the digital transformation. The goals are roughly the same. It's all about throughput. How many parts do I make per hour? How many cars are rolling off the line? It's about quality. Are these high quality parts? Do you have any scrap? It's about cost. How do I keep my costs down and make sure that I utilize my resources the best I can? And it's about on-time delivery. On-time delivery of products has become a premier competitive arena, basically with the arrival of Amazon, where everybody now wants everything in 2 days. A couple more goals that people typically have are sustainable manufacturing. How do we do this in an environmentally friendly fashion, and how we do it in a safe way? And finally, there is a new concept, or maybe not so new concept, that GE pioneered about 30 years ago, which is called product as a service, where the large companies are now going to a model where they not only make and design the product, but also service it. And that drives the notion of what people call the digital twin or digital thread, where I want to have a virtual model of my product at every instance. Because of those goals and of those changes, we'll now see the OEMs driving digital into their supply chain, and that will require for any of the SMMs to make sure that they are digitally up to snuff and can connect digitally to their OEM. So if we look at these goals, which are mostly the same during the last 100 years or so, Henry Ford certainly wanted to have throughput, quality, cost, and fulfillment at top notch, and he would have driven that. Maybe even James Watt, after he invented the steam engine, would have said, hey, I would really like this to be a little bit faster, a little bit better, a little bit cheaper. The technologies that are available to us are actually new, and you see them here on the right side. It is, first of all, the cloud. How do we store and connect all the data? This will enable us to do knowledge sharing across factories and in the supply chain. It is all about artificial intelligence. It's about 5G. How do we get data more easily into our databases? How do we analyze this better? It's about real-time systems analysis. How do we do the analysis we have been doing for planning purposes now in real time? And it's about the digital twin. How do we enable that digital twin that these big companies need now that they sell their products as a service? Now, to me, that sounds really daunting. And it was very daunting for these large companies. And they started very small, maybe 10 years ago or so. You might be inclined to just stick your head in the sand and say, you know what, I'm making money right now, good enough. I'll get to it when the time comes. But that will be too late. You really
Well, everyone, it looks like we are experiencing some technical difficulties right now, and the video has frozen.
Specific solution that AMI is bringing to market to help with the Industry 4.0 transformation for small and medium manufacturers. So when we talk about what LIMS is actually an integrated software and hardware platform that, in a manner that's very low cost, that's easy to implement, really makes it simple for manufacturers to start that first step in their journey. Getting data, collecting data off of their machines, starting to understand those issues of throughput, quality, and cost in real time. And once you start to have that data, now you can do lots of things and make a lot better decisions to improve your business. So just to give a quick demonstration of the LIMS platform, it's actually something that's been developed by a partner of ours, Lux Energy, over the past couple of decades. And as a result, it's not just a brand new solution, but actually an industry hardened solution that will really help with the collecting data off of machinery and providing the basic analytics and basic visualization that manufacturers need to really get started down this path. So just to give you a simple explanation of what it is, there's a piece of hardware, it's an IoT gateway, all based on open standards, all based with low-cost components, that allows you to connect a variety of assets and bring them into one place. So this can be network data coming off of machines. It can be sensor data coming from sensors that are scattered around the shop floor. But the beauty of bringing all of this together is you land it all in one place, you land it all in one database. And once you have that, now you can start to see in real time what is going on in your shop. Combined with the hardware, as I mentioned, is an integrated software platform. So unlike many things that are commercially available, you don't have to piece and part things together to make it work, but instead, all in one package, one simple and easy to use package. You can now say, okay, now I'm collecting that data, I have the data in one place, and now I can do some simple visualizations, some simple analytics to really help see what's going on in the shop. And so in the top of the slide, you just see a picture of a very simple interface, user interface that comes with the software that enables you to do this analysis. But you can do more than that with it if you want to. So if you want to, you can tie it into a Tableau dashboard or a Power BI dashboard. You pick the tool. We don't pick the tool for you. So you can pick the platform you want and the means that you want to be able to do the analysis that you want. It also comes with a simple analytical package that allows you to run some basic statistics around the system itself. And finally, maybe unique to many systems, is it also allows you to do provide outputs as well. So not only can you monitor what's going on in the shop and track the data, et cetera, but for example, if a variable exceeds an alarm, you can send an email to somebody, you can send a text to somebody, you can light a light stack on the floor. So you can do a lot of things with this low-cost device that really start people thinking digitally in your shop and figuring out what more they can do with the data now that they have it. And so this is, we feel that this is just a natural extension. Many organizations work on lean manufacturing. How do we lean out our processes, et cetera? And what this does is this digitalizes those, right? So this brings that stuff to life. It makes it real. It allows you then to make steps and take action in real time and not just have a new value stream map, but you don't know what happens, but actually then allows you to actually monitor and continuously improve the process in real time. And that's how you're really going to get the value out of things like lean manufacturing. So let's talk about an example at one of our customers. Highwood USA is an outdoor furniture manufacturer based in Northeast Pennsylvania. They make very high quality outdoor furniture, resin-based furniture. They have a fully integrated supply chain where they start with plastic pellets, they make the raw material, and then they cut that into the parts that you want. And you can go on Amazon, you can go on their website. There's lots of places where you can find what they're doing. It's a medium-sized company, not quite 200 people, been around for about 20 years. And really, it's mature enough where now, they've had a successful business over many years. They're starting to grow the business, and now they're trying to figure out, hey, how can we use Industry 4.0 in a way that's really going to help us improve the operation of our business? So in the past several months, they've had a ramp up in demand, and their CEO is asking questions like, hey, how can I get more throughput in my shop without having to add a new shift, pay excessive amounts for overtime, maybe spend a lot of capital on a new machine, right? But what things can I do to make sure first that I'm getting as much as I possibly can out of the assets that we have? So he recognizes that within their shop, a part of the process, which is there's a series of CNC machines. So they take the raw material, they run them through CNC machines to cut out the various pieces and parts. They then assemble them within the shop, and then they ship them off to the end customers. And so they recognize that this CNC cell has become a bottleneck in their productivity. And so they're asking questions around, hey, how can we measure throughput, or how can we measure overall equipment effectiveness, OEE, right? Give us some real-time data and help us understand variability in productivity as a function of product or shift or operator. And with that visibility, that then gives them the opportunity to really drive more improvements for their business. And so that's where we've been working with them. We have hooked up a single LIMS device that talks to the 4 machines that they have in the shop. It collects data right off of the PLCs on their CNCs, collects it, as I described previously, all into one place. And now with that, they can do a lot of different things with it. So they can use simple dashboards that are part of the LIMS platform, as we showed on the previous slide. Or there's a simple example here where they've developed a web page on their own, where they've been able now to collect that data, display that data, and display this information both on the shop floor next to the cell to help drive productivity right there, but also bring it back to the folks in the C-suite so that they can also understand how things are working and really where the opportunities are, and then share that data with their industrial engineer, who can then start to look at that and say, okay, now based on this and a little bit of data analysis and simple analytics, now we can see where the big improvement opportunities are. So just to reinforce a couple of things about the solution, right? One thing that's really important for us is we're really trying to teach the manufacturers how to fish. So we have provided them a platform based on open standards. It's tied in right now to their CNC cell, but there's a lot more that they can do with it, and we're enabling them to do that on their own. If they want to add more sensors, they can go ahead and do that. If they want to network additional machines into that platform, they can go ahead and do that. If they want to do different things from an interface or from an analytics perspective, this is a very open platform using standard tools, really whatever tools they choose. They're now enabled to be able to make those changes and basically, with the start that we've given them, organically grow the system on their own so that they can maximize the value from their shops. So what then we're going to do next is just give you a simple demonstration of the LIMS platform. The demonstration we'll show you today is very basic, using a tabletop 3D printer and the LIMS box itself, and just show you very simply how the data is networked in, how you can do some basic visualization around the machine, and just how easy it is to really use and grow the platform. So let me give you a taste of the demonstration that we'll show you at the SME shows. So what you see here is a series of equipment that will all be orchestrated by the LIMS device. We have a 3D printer, we have a cobot, we have a drill press, we also have a set of Bluetooth-enabled calipers. All of the information from these devices is going to ultimately flow into the LIMS device, which can then orchestrate a operation that's designed to show you how you could also do a more complex manufacturing operation within your shop. So in this case, what's going to happen? Well, we're going to give you the pair of calipers, and using a blank, you'll be able to define the size of part that you want to make. The calipers are Bluetooth enabled. We can capture the data from the calipers into the LIMS device. The LIMS, in turn, then can take that information, adapt the G-code in the drill press, send that information to the drill press, so that when a part gets into the press, then it can be machined to the size that you identified up front. The overall process is, first starting, we make the blank in the 3D printer. The information, then that piece will then get picked up by the cobot and ultimately transmitted over to the press, where it'll make the part just as you defined it. So what's happening, right? We're bringing a lot of data from a lot of different pieces of equipment all into one place, using the LIMS device as the orchestrator for all of them. So, not only is it collecting data, so for example, with the 3D printer, and I show up on the screen here, remember we talked about this being an integrated hardware-software solution. So the data from the 3D printer, which is just connected via a USB cable into the LIMS device, is now actually being displayed on the screen to my left. So what that shows you is the XYZ position of the printer head as it's moving. So there you have an example of real-time data. And then the LIMS device, as I said, is taking the information from the calipers and actually providing an output, transmitting that over to the drill press. So not only is it receiving the operational data off of those pieces of equipment, but it's actually telling the press what to do to make the parts you define. So again, come by our booth at the SME shows. We'll show you this demonstration. We can talk to you about the LIMS box in a lot more detail and really show you how flexible it is and how easy it can be implemented in your shop to do what you want to do to help bring more profitability to your manufacturing operation. So with that, thanks for your time, and we just invite you now to ask any questions that you would like, and we'll do our best to answer them. Thanks.
Yeah, click on the box.
Great video. Thank you very much. Stephan and Larry, feel free to take it away and ask questions, please.
Sure. Hey, thank you guys for attending our session here. We had a great time here at MXD. I hope you got some of the excitement of what we have on the shop floor, and it encourages you to attend the MT series in your region. Again, I think Carl told you it's first in Houston in October, and then we're going to move on to East Tech in Springfield, Massachusetts. Then we're going to go to Greenville, and finally we're going to go to Los Angeles, Long Beach, and we'll have a show there. So I hope you come and see our live demo there. I think the video for some of you might have been a bit choppy. What we will do is we'll post that video on our website. You saw it's about 15 minutes or so. If you couldn't really see it exactly, I encourage you to see it, or even better, come to the show and talk to us. So now, if you have any questions, we could answer for you. I think Carl outlined that process. Please type it in the Q&A box, and we'll let you know if we can answer the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Stephan. And as we're waiting for questions, and please feel free to use the Q&A area because we're looking at them live right now. But no, we do apologize for the technical difficulties, and we will make copies outside of this webinar series to all attendees and all registrants so that they can see the facility and this wonderful video that you just presented. So please rest assured that we apologize for the mistake or for the technical issues, but we will make sure everyone gets to see that in full with sound in its entirety. So we'll be sending that out shortly. So I see there are 10. There we go. We do have a first question that just came in.
All right. Can we repeat the SME show sessions, transmission, and breaches while connecting hardware and software elements to your system? Security issues, yes. So we're working with a company that's helping us with cybersecurity. Whenever you want to do something like that, first you need to make sure that it's not going to harm your production, and clearly that includes the cybersecurity solutions. Not all of our clients, by the way, feel that way. Some feel that the risk is quite low, and they don't want to spend the time to do it. But for you, that we can present, in fact, we have a tiered solution that goes from let's have security like you have at home to all the way let's have banking security like the I think our partner has an agreement with the European Central Bank, how they transfer data. So yes, we have that.
And maybe just one other comment there for those folks who understand the cybersecurity issues. We really, in this device, it actually opens up only one port, a single port, on your information, on your IT or your OT network. So it's actually a very secure system inherently. There's very little risk of anybody being able to breach it just because of this.
And the sessions are, the first one is in Houston. I believe that's
October the 5th.
The week of October 5th. Then we move on to, yes, sir.
No, I'm actually going to roll through all those dates, and I do have a slide at the end. So if I'll be more than happy to cover all of that with the dates and the location. So that's how I would end. Thank you.
Sure. Next question. I'm updating our advanced manufacturing program. I'm introducing an Industry 4.0 certificate at my community college. How can your company assist in that process? And of course, we will be happy to help you. In fact, we have an educational offering that essentially takes the box we have, and since you are implementing it in this case at a community college, we let you buy that at a very discounted rate. We'll then implement that remotely so that we will not come out to the shop floor. But if you have students there and professors that can help with that, we can get this done for you. And again, we are not for profit, so we're making absolutely zero money on that offering. This was from Sita Kanta. Thank you for the question. And I think we have also emails in the presentation. So if you want to email us how to do that, we'll be happy to explain that to you. We have done it so far with 6 colleges. Other questions?
Yeah, Stephan, looks like a question came in on the chat, and I will read that to you if you don't mind.
All right, we'll switch over to that. Yeah,
Tim says, how long is the implementation time for the LIMS solution?
Yeah, so it's quite fast. So typically, from you giving us an order to implementation, I think it will be roughly between 4 and 6 weeks. It's not that it will take us 4 to 6 floor. It's usually that we identify the machine with you, identify the network you have, try to figure out how we can work together with your IT staff to make sure that we connect this well. And then the actual implementation, usually we get this done in a few hours. It's the prep, it's a little bit like painting, the prep work is really the bulk of it. And it's identifying value, opportunity for you, and then connecting with the IT staff, understanding the networks, understanding the controllers, and so forth, to identify the best solution for you. It's an iterative process that we see as collaborative. Anything to add, Eric?
No, I think you covered it. That's exactly right.
All right. Can you repeat? This is from Quares. Can you repeat the integration of digital twins within your process? There was a discussion point during the video, but the audio was a little choppy. Yeah, again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. When you think of digital twins, let's first define what we mean by that. I think many people have different definitions. I think of it as a virtual representation of a physical asset that is associated in the lifetime. So I give you an example from my GE days. When you build a digital twin of a jet engine, I think of a model that has there's an initial model, and then that model changes with the use of that asset, because a jet engine that is flown in Northern Europe has different kind of maintenance requirements compared to some jet engine that's flown at, let's say, Saudi Arabia, simply because from the desert is more abrasive to that jet engine, and you need to maintain it more often. So naturally, because of those physical circumstances, your digital twin will have to adjust for the use of that asset. Once you use that asset, you again change the asset and you need to update your digital twin. And these digital twins are becoming so important because as so many more people go to this product as a service offering, because that's where they're making a lot more money than offering just the product. The suppliers of those OEMs, for example, GE, have to also supply those digital twins so that you can get a full picture of that asset. Now, when you think of the integration, I think the integration of the digital twin has to be in design for OEM and for the suppliers, then in manufacturing for OEM and suppliers. Then you have to look at the use, and then finally you need to look at the service. So along that chain, which we call the digital thread, you have to have digital twins that continuously change so that the OEM can improve both the product continuously as well as the manufacturing. And we are using these digital twins to essentially run what-if scenarios on maintenance schedules, supplier parts, and so forth, always trying to think about how do we get to higher throughput, better quality, and lower. I hope that answered the question. If not, please ask more. Somebody anonymous asked, can you run the system off an internal server or computer, or is it a cloud-only based system? It is, you can do whatever you want. So you can use it in the cloud, you can use it on a server, you can use a private cloud, you can use a public cloud, you can use a hybrid cloud. You can do this in any which way you want. And it turns out that, manufacturing, especially the plant managers, are not very trusting. So some of them have difficulties with the cloud. Some of them think that they are more afraid of cybersecurity issues and so forth. So absolutely, you can use it. You can use it on a server in your factory, not a problem. Or you can use it on our cloud, or you can use it on your cloud. It is completely flexible in that regard.
Yeah, just to differentiate from some other commercial systems that are out there, where often somebody will sell Lens in their cloud and then you access it through a browser or through Excel or something like that. This system is intended to put the manufacturer in total control of the data, where it lands and what they do with it. And as we talked about, it's really to enable. The whole idea here is not where every time you have a problem, you need to come back to AMI to help solve it. It's really to help the manufacturer put in a foundation, which then they can build off of themselves, right? So they can add more signals into it. They can manipulate the data, land it wherever they want, display it, right? Do all of that on their own, and we just kind of coach them through that process. But really, again, as we talked about in the video, really want to enable them self-perform.
And let me emphasize that one more time. Your data is your data. We will never use or touch that data without your permission. More questions? Carl, you see any in the chat?
No more questions yet from the chat, but we got a few more minutes, so we'll hang out for a few. If no one has any other questions in the next couple of minutes, we will end the webinar. We'll give you back your time, and but before we do that, we'll share the events of our MT series in a few minutes. But
there was a question on that, Carl. So why don't you go ahead and share with our audience where they can see all these fantastic live demos and meet with us?
Excellent. So
go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So special guest. Our MT series actually will pause until 2022. So this is our last edition for this year. But now we are so excited to get back into the live event world that we're launching the MT series in October, starting with UseTex, October 5th through the 7th at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas. Following up shortly after is our East Tech event, October 19th to the 21st at the Eastern States Exposition in West Springfield, Massachusetts, and South Tech, October 26th to the 28th in Greenville in South Carolina. West Tech, November 16th to the 18th in Long Beach Convention Center. And registration for all of the events are open right now live on our MT Series websites. So if you haven't gone to that, we will make sure we include a link to everyone as we send out the video. So we'll send you a link to all of those events, and we hope to see you down on the road. So Stephan and Larry, any parting questions from you?
Questions. So I suggest that we give people 23 minutes back. And we invite you to come and see us at these shows. If you can come to those shows, Google Advanced Manufacturing International or find us on LinkedIn. We would be happy to share our insights with you on smart manufacturing, on digital transformation, on Industry 4.0. We'd be thrilled to talk to you about implementations in your factory if you have a problem that could be solved with digital. And we'll see you there.
Yes, thank you. And also special thanks to Dr. Biller and Dr. Megan. Really appreciate you taking time out of your day and spending with us. And of course, a very special guest to all of our attendees who participated this afternoon. We appreciate your time and hope you found this to be informative. Again, thank you very much, and we'll see you later. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.